You are listening to the Any Anime Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. And today, we're going to be doing stuff. Ain't that right? Ain't that right, boys? All right. I'll admit, I'm a little brain fried. I did work like a 9.5 hour shift. So,
just don't work.
Yeah, look, not all of us can be Angel. All right. Angel, a part of me hopes that one day your future employer is like a fan of this podcast and it's like, oh, well, I love your work in the AAP, but we're gonna have to let you go. We already know all about your habits. No. By the way, there's no director of acronyms this week. Does anyone want to take a stab at the AAP acronym bit?
No, you're going for it.
Fucking wish I didn't.
We are not angry and pissed. We are the Animaniacs podcast.
Oh, that's
yeah,
good.
Not that.
That's good. No, we're also not that one.
We're not that.
Oh,
I'm tired too.
Shit.
Wait, what did he say?
The Animaniacs.
Oh,
Damn.
Why did we ever change the name?
It's been a while.
Animaniacs rolled off the tongue so well.
It does. Well, two reasons. The first one, supposed to be like a new era kind of thing. I think we agreed that without our previous third of the cast, it was different, It
was different.
Secondly, somebody already had the name Animaniacs, and granted, while they hadn't posted in a while, I do think that not having the same name as another anime podcast really helps with SEO. Search engine optimization for people who don't know the lingo. And personally, I'm very happy that we changed the name.
bro, sounds like a bunch of scrub talk.
As a matter of fact, I remember we asked Angel, like, hey, what should we change the name to? And he was like, anything but that. And we were like, all right, give us a suggestion. He was like, nah. And I'm like, cool. Then I guess we're the anime podcast now. But we're not here
against AAP, I think.
Yes, that's what we were just saying.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Oh,
you were against it vehemently. And you would not give us another example of what to call ourselves.
Oh yeah, I was just like, not that. Yeah,
anything but that.
You guys weren't cooking. I'm sorry.
And now look at you. You're like a fan favorite part of the podcast, Angel. With all the talking you do and all of the analysis, sometimes I gotta message Angel sometimes to shut up. Like, hey, let other people speak. You're really taking the limelight away from the other cast members. And he exits with grace, back into his shadow void of sorts. But we're not here to talk about the makings of a podcast channel or Angel's willingness to join the creative pot. We're here to talk about the Eminence and Shadow Season 2. Boys, this is probably up there with one of my favorite anime. Definitely in the top 10 shonen. I'd have to really sit down and make a concrete list before I say it's in my top 10 of all time, but it's probably in my top 10 of all time. I think I enjoy it that much. But certainly a top 10 shonen. Season 2 did not disappoint, at least not for me. Angel, what did you think overall?
It was good. I was more excited for the next arc than anything, I would say.
Okay. Were you hoping this would be a 2-core and
No, I'm happy with movie.
Okay, you're happy with it. Okay. We'll get to the movie eventually. Cade, what are your overall thoughts on Eminence and Shadow season 2?
It's been a bit, but I remember liking it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
Mm-hmm, so let's go ahead.
Compared to season 1, I'd have to say under.
Below season 1?
Yeah, below season
I think that's a fair opinion. I don't blame you for that. Season 1, especially towards the end, I feel like was peak.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if I were to say like overall, I think season 2 was more consistent in its quality and entertainment, where I feel like season 1 had some lulls here and there with the witch arc. I feel like was especially weak. The like school arc was good, like the school hostage arc was good, but I mean, it's not like one of the best arcs in the show or anything. So I think comparing storyline to storyline, I think season 2 is a little more consistent. So let's go ahead. Let's go arc. We'll do what we did last time, Angel. We'll go arc by arc and kind of talk about our favorite aspects and moments from each arc. So arc number 1, we have the Lawless City, and the vampire queen that abides at the top of the tower. What do you what did you remember fondly from that arc, Angel? Is there like a fight scene or a particular moment that you remember?
What do I remember from that arc? I remember reading it in the manga. I found it hilarious. But I don't think it came off the same in the show.
You think it came off worse?
I think it just hit differently is all. It was
hit differently. Okay.
Yeah, it's I don't know how I would describe it. Other than it was different. But not bad. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts. I would say the thing I remember fondly is the and this is probably because of Expo, because everyone was vibing to this line. But when Sid steals the like moon is red,
oh yeah,
we're out of time. Yeah. All that whole line is just so funny. Just so funny to see him like internalize, like he was told the line, he internalized it, and he's like, it's mine now. This is how it how it continues. And yeah, I think that is probably what. And again, Expo really did kind of imprint that memory on me more than anything. Kay, do you remember anything from the Lawless City?
I remember a lot of it, but honestly didn't feel the same way. I found the whole stolen line bit. I thought it was funny, like the first 1 or 2 times he said it. But the fact that like every scene where he shows up, he says it, that got on my nerves. I won't lie.
Got on your nerves.
Yeah, because I mean it happens at least 5 or 6 times. Yeah. And coming from him, he always has a lot of like really I say cool, but it's like kind of cringe at the same time. He always has those cringe lines that he just pulls out of his ass, like just random fucking lines that he has prepared. And the fact that this time he doesn't, I think kind of got to me a little bit. I think it, like when you said that it kind of like stuck in his head and that's why he did it, that makes sense. But at the same time, yeah, like it did get a little like he didn't expand on it at all either.
Oh no.
It was just very much the same sentence over and over again. And yeah, so that got on my nerves. But I thought the Vampire Queen was cool. I especially liked the little side arc with Sid's sister and the vampire maid.
Yes.
I thought them working together and finding out more about his sister was cool. And kind of getting to explore more of her character. I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like really any interaction between those groups and Shadow. Remember how there were like 3 different factions?
Yeah, you got
It's like the vampires, you got the Fox Girl, and then the fuck if I
Juggernaut
remember.
guy.
Juggernaut, yeah. Like they barely went into all that. Like I think the Fox Girl, she was kind of like a vessel for things to move into the next arc. But like you see the Juggernaut maybe twice, and he doesn't contribute anything.
No. If anything, he almost tries to like blow up the plot. I think he fights the sister in the tower, if I'm not mistaken, as her and the vampire killer are climbing up the tower.
I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but you also read it, right? Or you read up to a certain part? If I remember.
I have the book actually right next to me. The first book ends. Remember when in the first season when he collects all of like the really rare items just so that he has this, shadow moment where he's like, super rich but doesn't care about it kind of thing. That's where the first book leaves off, basically. So no, I did not.
Nothing past the like early episodes of season 1.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, Angel, if it did come across different in the manga, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
But wouldn't be the first time that's happened, So
It's true.
like I got to take your word on that.
Well, I think usually the biggest difference between like a manga and an anime is you just you blitz through manga, much faster. And an anime will like take its time to kind of focus and develop, and you got voice lines that are going to be slower than just you reading the lines, right? So there's always a different feel when it comes to manga, especially in like the shonen category. I'm sure maybe in like the romance category, I think it probably transfers closer 1-to-1, but shonen manga especially, I feel like manga readers get almost I don't want to say a different story, but they get like a like a director's cut or something. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, or maybe it's the opposite. The anime is the director's cut of the story, and I don't know. Do you agree with that, Angel, or am I just spouting nonsense?
Oh, I guess I could see what you're trying to say.
How long does it take you to read like 3 manga chapters? Probably less than 20 minutes, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the average episode of an anime, I think, is like about 3 chapters, depending on the manga, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I mean by like just like a difference in like time and pace. Do you guys have you guys remember the very last fight versus the Vampire Queen when he takes out all the gold and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you think that was a good culmination of the arc and its placement in the story and all that? You think that was like a good way to end this arc, or did you have some qualms about that?
I don't know. Like I said, I felt like the entire arc was just kind of like a setup for the next arc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I wasn't particularly invested in anything that happened in the vampire arc. I will say the atomic healing or whatever he used instead of his typical atomic uh, nuke, atomic explosion,
Yeah.
where he cures like all the people in town of their zombie virus or whatever. I thought that was a cool use of his power. But I mean, like I said, you know, uh, I wasn't engaged with the story itself.
Mm-hmm. And you, Angel?
Thought it was fine. I mean, I expected it because I read it.
Of course, fair enough. Fair enough.
No qualms with it.
So in the overarching story, I guess there's roughly like, let's say like 7 to 8 like arcs. That's a rough estimate. I don't know exactly how many there are. I say 3 in season 2, roughly like 6 in season 1, in that range. Dude, where roughly do you think this ranks? This Lawless City arc ranks in that like, you know, gallery of arcs for Eminence?
Oh, let's see. All
I
I
don't
know
remember
is
the witch arc that you said in season 1.
it was Sanctuary arc, which
Yeah,
for
when
me was personally my least favorite, but it also
Oh yeah.
and that's where
I agree.
he meets the witch, um, who's like supposed to be like super fucking powerful or whatever.
I will
Yeah,
say the lead up to their meeting was pretty good between Epsilon and Beta. Their whole like uh every interaction with them is great because they're just constantly fighting about their boob size and how
it's true.
Epsilon is fake and yeah.
you know which one
Always
Kate
good.
seems for.
Kate,
Yeah.
are you a beta guy?
I am a Beta guy. I hate to
Yeah.
admit it.
No, it's fine. It's fair. It's fair. I'm a beta guy too. I really enjoy beta, the beta
Something
life. You know what
about
I'm saying?
a nerdy girl who enjoys reading but has giant fucking honkers.
It has
Doesn't
Best of both worlds, you know. Got a big
doesn't hold
head and
back.
a big body. You know what I'm saying?
Uh, Kate, don't worry. I understand what you're saying.
Base take.
Uh, I think Claudia's favorite is Delta, the clumsy. No, not Delta. Sorry. Gamma.
Gamma.
Gamma. Which one's Gamma? Oh, is that the clumsy one? Yeah.
The Mitsugoshi. Yeah. I always get Gamma and Delta confused. Delta's the wolf girl. Speaking of wolf girl, we have the John Smith arc, and she kind of plays an interesting role in that arc.
Animators knew what they were doing, all right.
Yes, they did. So not to lead the group here, but the John Smith arc, I think, might be my overall favorite arc. I think it's got like, of all of Sid's powers, I think the like string power is kind of lends itself to being the most badass.
I feel like, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I feel like string powers in a lot of other anime are either really, really good, really, really
Or
bad.
dog shit, yeah.
Yeah. It's like they're only either used for like tying people up by like a cringe side character who's gonna die like in the very first battle anyways, or by a fucking OP character who uses them exactly like John Smith did, in the sense of like, alternating between trapping them because they're invisible and then slicing them apart because they're razor wire or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. No, super,
I
super
love
badass.
the John Smith stuff. Everything to do with him, he was great.
Almost feel like it ended too fast. I just wanted to keep it going. I would not have minded seeing John Smith a little longer.
John Smith and Alpha fight. That was pretty good.
Oh, dude, when she brings out the mist form.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
He fucking educates her.
So that's interesting because it's kind of a that this arc is kind of fun because you see how you get a lot more insight into how Shadow Garden kind of operates without him in that respect. And to see then him join the front lines in operating against Mitsugoshi is like was fucking wild to me. To the point where like Alpha at some point thinks that like, John Smith, and therefore when she finds out that John Smith is Sid, that Sid fucking yeeted Delta, when all he did was like send her on a wild goose chase to Lawless City. But I think it showed like, it revealed, I should say, an interesting dynamic of the relationship between like Alpha and Sid, where like once Alpha learns that John Smith is Sid, she like feels betrayed, and she's not like some of the other members who would be more like, oh, there must have been a reason, out the gate. You know what I mean? She's not as
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
She's a bit more of a critical thinker than I think the other ones.
She's got a closer connection to Shadow. And
yeah,
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that she's definitely taken the forefront of leading the group, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Shadow's definitely there as like the commanding figure, but he's also absent most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, she really has to step up. And so, when Shadow does something that kind of, to her, feels like it's threatening the group too, she needs to know why, and, at least needs to confront him about it,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Alpha's relationship with Shadow is definitely unique among the members, and I love it. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think was better, the John Smith versus Delta fight, John Smith versus Alpha, or John Smith versus the wolf guy? I forget who knows what his name is.
Honestly, I don't even remember the wolf guy fight.
Me neither, to be honest.
I was about to ask who the heck is the wolf guy?
The wolf guy. You remember the wolf guy?
I remember who he was. I remembered. I just for a second I'm like I was digging through my brain like who? I think it's been a minute, So
yeah, no, same here.
I think the Delta fight was impressive because not only was it really well animated and really well done, it was the first time we got to see Delta, this character that had been hyped up as like this super strong or like the most aggressive out of the entire group. It was the first time we got to see her in an actual fight, which I thought was pretty cool. Only problem, it ends pretty abruptly because she smells him and realizes it's Shadow. And so, it's kind of like, okay, it's over, done.
Yeah, it was probably like a 3 to 4 minute fight at the most. That might even be pushing it.
Sid does prepare for that and throws on an insane amount of perfume and stuff like that to try and hide his own smell.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, so does he reveal himself to her then?
No, she still smells him through all that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, but that's definitely a detail that's not in the anime, so that's actually really interesting.
Like he was prepared to, because he knew Alpha was going to send Delta first. in the manga, and then that's why he prepared for it. And I mean,
Yeah.
not like it mattered in the end.
Yeah, but either way, yeah. That isn't necessarily a complaint that I have. The fact that it ends abruptly like that and everything, it I wouldn't say it takes away from it at all. I really enjoyed the fight and it was great. Um, but I think in respect to that aspect, the fight with Alpha is better because it's after John Smith defeats her, right? There's that moment of emotional tension because it wasn't really resolved, their argument, right? And so there was this lasting emotional presence that the Delta fight didn't have because it ended so abruptly, and for a good reason, right? Don't get me wrong, like it makes sense in the story that why it ended so abruptly, but yeah, I think the Alpha fight edges out just over the Delta fight because of that.
Oh, a little edging, I see.
We're a fan of some edging over here.
That's why they call me the Edge Lord. I see where you're coming from, Kate. From a narrative perspective, you're definitely right. But I think with like the destruction of like the train car, and you get to see like quite a bit of like Delta's power and tenacity in that fight. I think I just remember that the like visual aspect of that fight a little bit more than I do Alpha versus John Smith. I just remember.
I will say too, I don't remember really too much of a difference between the Delta fight and the Alpha fights, in terms of specific scenes that happened or something that I was really impressed with. All I remembered, for example, was the mist form from Alpha and Delta just being destroying the cars and everything like that and being really aggressive and um so it very very much could have been a case where one fight was definitely more visually impressive. I just personally don't remember.
For sure. Angel, do you have a say in this?
For me, it was a Delta fight.
Delta fight. I'll have to rewatch it. I definitely watched the Alpha fight more recently. There's a clip on YouTube that popped up on my.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And so,
yeah. But I totally see where you come from like a narrative perspective. It's definitely the more like it's a more intense fight. You know what I mean? Because because of Alpha's feelings, her emotional state, and her clear intention not to get left behind by Sid. There it's definitely a more emotional battle. But strictly from like an animation standpoint, I think the Delta fight just stays in my head a little more. So I want to talk about something else in this arc that I don't think it gets enough credit for, and it's they try to tackle an economic situation. You know what I mean? Which is very easy to become like really long-winded and boring, or just like go over the heads of people, or just not make any sense. But I think they actually do a really good job in this show of kind of like saying like, okay, this is the status of Mitsugoshi and like in the market, the status of this other company in the market, and why like the money is really playing a huge factor in this whole arc. I can't really think of many other anime that really tackle something like this like as well as Eminence and Shadow. Do you guys find that to be true for you guys as well, or
the trying to find the right words for it. The currency side of it, no, I've never seen that before. economic issues in terms of like taking over land and farmland and rotating out crops, and all these different things of like making the economic goods, like the gross product of the country. I have seen that before, but never in terms of like the businesses fighting businesses
There you go,
with
yeah.
their own currencies. That was very interesting. I'd never seen that before. So
the closest I'm trying to think if anything even comes close. The closest I can think of is like Realist Hero was kind of mostly about the economy and dealt with currency a little bit. I don't know if you remember that, Cade, from a couple years back.
I didn't watch it. Besides, what was required.
Gotcha. That's right.
But I mean, there are definitely others that are out there.
Yeah. But I think it's funny how like this shonen anime that is it's almost a parody.
It basically is.
It basically is, but I think a key. It's kind of like One Punch Man, you know what I mean? It's like One Punch Man is a parody, but I think it stands its own ground enough that it's almost not even a parody anymore. It's kind of it's almost an elevation of a new genre. You know what I mean? It's like this is a type of shonen. Now I feel and where was I going with that? Oh yeah. I just want to give it props for like something I think was like pretty well conceived, being in like what can be considered a parody anime. Like you don't have to go this hard, It's kind of like Phil Collins writing music for the Tarzan movie. It's like you don't have to go this hard. No one expects much out of you, Phil. You could just like do a couple of what was that? Oh, this is one of the best OSTs ever made. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry I tried to stop you. We all love Tarzan, right? We're all Tarzan lovers here.
What?
No? You guys didn't have the purple VHS that you watched over and over again?
Don't talk to me.
I mean, I've definitely watched my fair share of Tarzan. I wasn't sure if you were talking about the original or the new one, since that
I said Phil Collins. I said Phil Collins.
I didn't hear that.
All right. I didn't even know there was a live action. There was a live action Tarzan?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it came out recently.
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure it's terrible.
The fact that I heard about it vaguely, and apparently it had come out like a month before I'd seen it, probably speaks volumes about how it went completely unnoticed.
It came out in 2016. Had Samuel L. Jackson? Has a 4.2.
No way, that's the
that's the audience rating. I wonder what the Rotten Tomato is. Sorry. I'm like genuinely interested in this now. The Legend of Tarzan got a 35% from critics and 58% from audience. So audience liked it a little bit more. That's interesting. Anyways, yeah. Let's move on to the final arc of the show. Not including
before you move on. There was more in the manga.
With the John Smith?
What's it called? The Fox guys, the Fox guy and whatever.
Uh-huh.
I just cannot remember, so that's why I didn't really bring it up. But I did just want to say there was a little more information regarding that was definitely cut out.
Information like backstory for the
more information regarding like the Fox girl and whatever the other guy was. And then you guys didn't mention it, but I like how Juggernaut, the guy that you guys were talking about in the first arc, got off screened.
He did get off screen.
I'm not sure if you, Kevin, I'm not sure if you watch it or not, but there was also like a little chibi thing going on after the show.
Oh, you
And
know what? I don't think I did. I think I was just pressing next on episodes as soon as the credit hit.
Delta literally off-screened him in.
Oh, yes. Okay, no, that you just okay, yeah. Because that's why Sid sends him to the sends her to Lawless City, right? He's like, oh, there's
He's like, oh, go. It should take you about 2 days to get there and back.
Yeah.
I thought they showed that in the.
They did not show that. He got completely off screen from the main show. Juggernaut.
Well, maybe they implied it in the.
It was implied
Okay.
that he was killed, but
I couldn't remember.
No, Angel did just trigger a memory in me.
Even in the chibi, he got off screened. Like Delta's there, Juggernaut's there. They go off screen and he dies.
Is that expanded on in the manga, or is that more or less the same that happens?
Oh, you know what? I don't even remember it in the manga.
Oh, so okay.
So he might have gotten off screen in the manga too.
It could be a simple case of like the director being like, "Hey, we introduced this character. Is he ever coming back?" To the guy who wrote the story, and the guy's like, "Oh, no, I have no plans for that guy." It's like, sweet. We're just gonna tie this loose end, because otherwise people are gonna be like, "Well, where's Juggernaut?" No, that's fair.
I'm gonna redact my Tarzan statement. Apparently, I fell for a meme.
But
you hate to see it happen.
Since I mentioned like the little chibi thing afterwards, they actually, how do I say this properly? They explore the characters in like those 2-minute chibi things quite a bit. Like you learn a lot about them through those.
So what you're saying is
episodes.
I missed out.
Yes.
On a bunch of them.
I probably did them too.
Yeah. Like I saw them on YouTube, for example, because you weren't going to see them on High Dive or anything. I think maybe they were on High Dive. I just didn't see, but they would just pop up on my YouTube afterwards.
It's funny because I'm like very quickly trying to scrub through some episodes. I'm on the High Dive page right now.
Yeah,
I'm scrubbing through some episodes, and I'm getting. I remember now that I watched all of the credits.
Yeah, I'm sure you did because they were
because the credits are just portraits of the various girls. So I remember that.
Man stayed for all the scenery.
So I'm very.
I'll post a little link.
Yeah, you're gonna have to post it.
The exact one
sure.
I'm talking about, but.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's literally just a chibi thing going on after like the show or whatever, but it's not on High Dive, which is why you guys probably never saw it.
Well, I don't watch on High Dive, but
I do.
It was also not on your pirate ship, Kate. Okay.
Really?
Unless you looked for it. Unless you looked for it, like you would have had to type it in. It's its own separate thing.
Oh,
okay. I take back what I said, because I swear to God they do mention something about Juggernaut dying.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Okay, they do. Okay. I've never seen this chibi. I do remember. I think Delta says she beat Juggernaut or something like that when she gets back.
He was easy or something.
Yeah. That sounds familiar. Okay.
But they do one of these after every episode, and I think there was also one of these for season 1. So there's probably like a total of 36 of these now.
God damn. Okay.
Completely missed out on.
Dang. Thanks, High Dive. You couldn't get the rights for some chibi animation.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
Straight off the Kadokawa YouTube.
Apparently, there's some holes in my pirate ship that they're slipping out of.
You just gotta punch those holes right in, all right? Because I'm sure they're there.
This is just 72 minutes of chibi animation. It's gonna be great. We'll watch it as a group. It'll be fun. Do we want to talk about the water park?
No, I think I want to say that was completely filler.
Oh, it was absolutely filler. Yeah,
I don't remember anything that happened there.
Besides,
Besides, I think
there's like a dragon that pops up, a water dragon of sorts.
right. Yep. Yeah. The
Turn
dragon
into
tears. That's what it
Power
was.
Rangers.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I think the only real thing that I liked from that was that they brought the costumes from the season 1 opening.
Oh yeah, that was a surprise.
That was sick. I will admit that was sick. Because they were like, "Oh, we don't want people to know that we're Shadow Guard." I'm like, hey, any excuse to have a wardrobe change, I'm in for it. You know, like literally, like when they did the like sneak suits in My Hero, I'm like, good, great, this is fucking awesome. All right, let's go ahead and jump to the last arc. I don't know what you would call this arc necessarily, the perv ass hat dethrone arc, or the. I think I what did I write here? I wrote Rose Oriana's
arc.
Awakening. Yeah, there you go. The Rose arc. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. Not a lot of fighting in this arc. They kind of save it for basically the very end. Which is not normal for this show. This show does deal with a lot of intense action sequences, you know, kind of at least sprinkled through. But I believe this arc maybe had one other fight before the final fight.
The fight where they came to pick her up to collect Rose from Shadow Garden, that whole fight, and then the only reason why they didn't kill off Shadow Garden is because she went with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was the last fight before that.
Yeah, that's yeah. That's like in the first opening bit of the show. But what you see a rundown kingdom. You know, a kingdom that's being neglected by.
Was that in the beginning of the season? Is that what you said? Or the beginning of the arc?
Beginning of the arc, yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, you're good. So you have like parts of the city that are like war torn. I believe there's like people who stand by like the royal lineage and people who are working under perv ass hat, and you know you've got like a civil war brewing. And so
that's his official name, basically.
Yeah. Amazing that they got away with that, and they all say it so seriously too. In the Japanese English, you know, like perv ass hat. It's like great, I love it. Not a translation, just pure perv ass hat. And so I think it was interesting to see how Sid continues his like background character stuff like outside of school, because he has that whole interaction with the person running the cafe where he's trying to like find himself or whatever the fuck he was trying to do.
Right. Yeah.
Is there a moment from this arc that isn't the final fight that you guys remember?
No. Besides was perv ass fat and Rose's mom. And then Rose finding out about it and just
and her like vomiting fucking everywhere.
But then Shadow's like trying to like keep the conversation going in his in his mysterious way, but he doesn't notice that Rose is like actually fucking hyperventilating, freaking out. and so she ends up passing out while he's monologuing. That's pretty good. I like that.
Because it's a weird dynamic. Because Rose like loves her mom, like she wishes the best for her mom, and her mom could literally care less. Matter of fact, more than caring less, she is actively wishing for her to die.
She's like, "Oh, we should have killed Rose before we killed the king."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then all the scenes where Rose and Sid were talking, not Rose and Shadow, but like Rose and Sid.
Mm-hmm.
Those were always pretty good because I like remember how he's like having this serious conversation with her and he's just eating the cookies?
Yes.
While he's talking to her. That was also good.
Mm-hmm.
Audience will need context for that. Unfortunately, I don't really know how better to describe that.
No. I mean, this is a spoiler cast. I think a part of the assumption is that you've watched the show. You know.
True. Can't really think of anything else.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Angel? You got anything?
Nothing that I can recall at the moment. At least for like the particular scenes you guys are talking about.
Yeah. So I forget. Did Sid somehow bring that piano up there?
I think he did.
Yes.
So I I know that Sid is someone very special to Rose or whatever, and maybe like she's caught up in the moment and stuff, but like she does not question. Yeah, she doesn't question anything. First of all, hey Sid, you never told me you could play the piano. Second of all, you play exactly like Shadow does. Third of all, where'd you even get that piano?
Oh yeah, she was there when Underground season 1, right?
Bro, she was like the only audience member for that.
Everybody else was dead, or no, they were about to fight. I think
they were about to fight the assassins in the sewers.
I thought for sure that's what they were going for. Where like she has the moment of realization that Sid is Shadow, but
that's her. I did too.
I guess not.
Yeah, it's kind of. I really thought they were setting up a Sid is about to reveal himself to someone other than actually he hasn't really truly revealed him. I mean, I guess Shadow Garden knows who he is like at school, but like no one from school knows he's in Shadow Garden.
Yeah.
So I really thought they were going to do like a little grand reveal there, but
Either way, he kind of revealed it to his friends because his friends found in season 1 they found the fake swordsman mask.
Oh yeah.
And he reveals to everyone that the fake swordsman is actually Shadow. So if the friends were smart enough, they'd be able to make that connection. But they are not, unfortunately.
Yeah, they are dumb. They are incredibly stupid. Matter of fact, one of them gets turned into a zombie in the Lawless City. And that's how I knew that the zombies could be reverted back into people. I'm like, oh yes, it's not going to let that slide. The show would never let that slide, I don't think. Because then it would just be Potato Head guy. Potato Head guy, he's a little weak on his own, I feel. Okay, so final fight. You know, Rose is at the wedding. It's like, you know what? I have something to say. And of course, Sid shows up after playing the organ. I forget. Who kills Rose's mom? Was it the demon thing?
The knight.
No, the knight. Who also killed Perv.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. The Diablos knight.
I liked his bragging. He's like, I've got my sword technique, which allows me to, send out like shockwaves from my sword that can decapitate people from like a mile away. And they're like, you mean the artifact that you're holding that does that automatically?
Yeah.
Just bragging about something that doesn't even exist, and he's like, "Oh fuck!"
And then they proceed to copy the technique, I think, or something like that, right?
As soon as they said that, I realized it was just going to be a meme fight. It wasn't actually going to be like a serious fight.
Mm-hmm. At least that part of it,
yeah. I was actually pretty underwhelmed with how all that turned out. The dragon, or whatever the fuck that beast was in the sky. They didn't really understand much about that besides the whole like multiverse thing that they were setting up, like how the dimensions will like overlap sometimes and allow things to cross over. I thought that was interesting because that gives an explanation as to how Sid got there.
In a way, we don't know why like getting hit by Truck Coon transports you into the other world yet, but it definitely opens the door to understanding of like, oh, that there is a correlation,
Yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts, opinions about the final fight?
Like I said, just underwhelming. I didn't really understand the purpose of the beasts that they brought over, and the fact that the guy was so weak was also pretty underwhelming. I thought for sure the most interesting thing about the last arc of season 2 was definitely the political drama that was going on, and trying to like having Rose having to try to like sort out her feelings with Sid and then Shadow as well, and then having to manage Perv Asshat, that kind of thing. So all that was really interesting, but in terms of like the fighting itself, I wasn't impressed.
What about you, Angel?
How would I say this? So I knew what arc was coming after this, right? And watching it, very last episode, I was lost in the sense that he got sent back, right?
Yeah.
Right. After the fight,
I'm like, wait, this was the arc. Like basically, what I'm trying to say is they changed it up enough to where I didn't recognize it almost.
Interesting.
I'm assuming in a bad way.
I wouldn't say in a bad way. Like the key details were there, like the explanation of the multiverse and stuff. But Kate's complaint about the final boss was different. In the manga, I just can't remember exactly. But I just remember watching it and getting the feeling like, wait, I didn't recognize any of this for the most part. Like I didn't realize this is where we were in the manga, If that makes sense.
I'm with you. And we've seen that the studio isn't afraid to kind of go off the beaten path to introduce like their own spin on things. So Kate, I don't know if you were aware, but when we talked about season 1, that very last fight, which again, that's one of my favorite fights in any anime ever. Ever. It's up. I'm gonna say it's one of my favorites. I'm not saying it's my favorite.
I'd say it's one of my favorites too. It's definitely up there.
Yeah, like between the princess and then the elf girl, and then the final like scene on the tower is so sick. But as Angel and I discussed it, season 1, you know, the last time, Angel, you mentioned that that fight basically happens at the stadium. Like they don't ever leave the stadium. And so for the anime to end up at the clock tower.
Yeah.
Right. I remember you mentioning that too. And for the fight to end up at the clock tower in a completely separate location than it is in like the source material is fucking wild. So not surprised to hear that this fight is also, you know, has been changed to a larger degree. So they're setting up, obviously, because there was an official Twitter announcement that there is going to be an Eminence and Shadow film. So at the very end of season 2, you see Sid rip a hole in what I'm assuming is like just space-time. He rips a dimensional hole that he gets sucked into, and it turns out that hole leads to his origin, his Earth of origin. And that's where we cut off. And they basically recreate the scene from episode 1, which is wacky. I thought the whole thing was like, what the fuck? And it's even the same guy, right? Like it
was the same guy.
Wild. I gotta ask, does that happen in the manga? Like they recreate that part, or
yes.
Okay.
To kind of like, how do I say it? Throwback that, you know,
it's a callback,
actually there.
Mm-hmm. Like if you were confused as to where he was, you shouldn't be anymore, basically.
Yeah.
So he travels back to his Earth of origin, and we see it looks honestly a lot like the Kingdom of Oriana was looking, just beat down. Tokyo's in fucking shambles. Kids are carrying guns to school.
So like 3 years in the future.
Yeah. And wow. And then the school idol character that Sid takes care of in episode 1 gets kidnapped again by the same people, and Sid does the same rescue mission. And then it cuts off, and now we know that that's setting up the movie. So I am genuinely interested in what's coming up. Cade, what are your thoughts on this whole like multiversal expansion thing that Eminence and Shadow is going for?
Historically in anime, I feel like generally it's done okay. I think it really depends on how you approach it. In this case, in particular, though, I think it's got great potential, especially for the character that Sid is. Right. I think this next arc is going to be great, you know, and everything like that. But in terms of the future, if you're going to continue with this whole multiversal thing, since he's the strongest in their world, it only makes sense that, you know, okay, well, you've introduced these multiple worlds now, so we're getting more strong people from other dimensions, right? So if they do that and we actually get like, you know, more of those scenes where it's like, you know, all of the world is, you know, under ruined by one person, and the only one who can stop him is Sid. That kind of stuff that fits right into his character, you know. So I think that's great. I think, you know, that lines up pretty well. However, you know, it's been fucked up before, so you know, it's really just who knows. Well, you know, I think what they've set up just right now with this last episode, I think it sounds good. I like where it's going. I like you know, them reintroducing him as the what they call him again? The Shining, the What was his name?
I don't
The
remember.
fucking his fucking like
The
hero
shiny
name.
Yeah, his hero name. Anyways, reintroducing him as that in his previous world, I think is pretty funny, and I like that.
Yeah, the fact that the guy remembers his stupid ass name.
I will say though, I'm a little concerned about this whole time dilation that they're doing.
Time dilation.
Because
talking about.
Is it not as much time has passed?
Well, the thing is when that girl is rescued, right?
Oh,
how old were they?
In high school.
In the very beginning, when Sid was still in his own world, they were in high school, right?
Yes.
So let's assume, 15, 16 on the lower end, right? Sid starts out in his world at what age?
A little baby.
Yeah, little baby. Let's assume Sid is now 15, 16 at the minimum, right? That would put the girl and his previous Earth at now 30-ish years old, right? But they specifically say she's 21 years old. So since time moves slower on that side, right, and faster in the
in Sid's dimension.
It's slower in Sid's dimension and faster in Shadow Garden. We'll call it Shadow Garden dimension. Does that mean for this entire arc that he's stuck in his own dimension, will 30 years have passed in the Shadow Garden dimension? When he gets back, is Shadow Garden going to be like, disbanded because he's been gone for so long? Are they going to be completely separate from him? I'm interested to see where that goes, if they're going to do anything with that. If they don't, that's an error in the setting, right? They didn't think that through when they were creating it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll find out.
These are questions that the source reader should stay absolutely silent about.
Look, I will say this. The way they finished off the episode, there are some... Oh, man. Yes, I mean... Right,
no spoilers.
Fit everything into the episode.
Okay.
So, watch the very last chibi of the season, and you will also see some new information.
Okay. Go to Kodokawa's YouTube page.
Yeah, go to Kadokawa's YouTube page and find the chibi of Eminence and Shadow for that. Because I can't say too much, because I just will say there was clearly not enough time to fit in everything in that episode for where they wanted to leave it off for the film.
Mm-hmm.
And they did throw like an extra 2 minutes into the chibi, of course. And
it's a 4-minute chibi.
Oh, it's a 4-minute chibi. It's the last one?
Oh no, you said it's an extra 2 minutes. I just figured you meant.
Oh yeah.
An extra 2 minutes on the usual 2-minute chibis.
Yeah, an extra 2 minutes. No, wait, no. I just meant like the usual 2 minutes.
Oh, I see.
I think this is the one that I'm gonna post in our thing.
All right, cool.
But yeah, just watch it. You'll see some information that was left out
of the main thing,
which is relevant to the film.
Should we watch it now and react to it live, or
I mean, cut out the empty space.
I could, yeah. Or I got a better idea. All right, we can just watch and still talk about it.
All right, you guys watch it and talk about it.
So I was gonna say
the first one that I posted.
Oh no, I'm only watching the second one. Okay. So here's the thing. I don't know if you guys remember this detail, but the very last line spoken in the anime is the girl that he rescued says shadow, which doesn't make sense. Yes. Yes. I am on the high dive.
Wait.
Episode.
Are you sure it's her?
I'm very positive.
Watch the chibi thing, and then you'll see why, maybe.
Because they make it very clear. As a matter of fact, I will screen share this if you need me to. Because he introduces himself as stylish, blah blah, this and that. So let me go ahead and share this for you, Angel, because you've already seen the chibi. As soon as you get in, I'll start. Live action IT, let's go. Get in the stream, Angel.
If you said anything in the last 2 minutes, I was not here.
I said get in the stream, Angel.
All right. Okay. Hold on. I got it.
There you go. Oh, wait a second. Okay. Right there. Also, I forget what the full name is. Stylish something.
Stylish Bandit, right? No.
Stylish Bandit Killer.
Something like that.
Oh, I see. He does say, "My name is Shadow." That's. Yeah. But so she says it, and this could be a localization thing. So I don't know if I want to put too much weight into this. But she says it with an exclamation mark in the subtitles instead of a question mark, which to me is trying to indicate recognition when it should be confusion, I think. Especially given how people up to that point were referring to him as stylish, blah blah, a name that she should have remembered. And then the dude's like, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I was not paying attention to anything y'all were saying because I was
don't worry,
watching the thing.
I was bringing up a different point.
Okay. Well, sorry, what was your point?
Oh, that the last word spoken in the show is shadow.
Yes.
And it's by the girl who he saves for the second time in his home dimension.
But he figured out why.
Yeah, it's because he says my name is Shadow right before. I had forgotten that detail. But even then, like, I feel like the presentation is weird, and it could be a subtitle like thing just not translating very well. But when you put an exclamation mark there instead of a question mark, like, I feel like there's recognition, as if like the girl knows who Shadow is before this incident. But
maybe
now
she does. We'll find out next season.
Starting to have doubt on that theory. But yeah. All right, Kate. So you watched the chibi. I kind of had it like in the background here.
Yeah. So
they're all reeling.
Essentially, because of what happened with Shadow turning into John Smith for a bit, they realized that Shadow has his own intentions for things, even if Shadow Garden doesn't understand. And so they're kind of using the same logic here. So they're like, oh, okay, well, it's happening again, so we need to just trust that he knows what he's doing and be prepared for when he comes back. So in what I said, in terms of like, will they have disbanded? Probably not, because like just based on that, probably not. But again, that doesn't answer my question of the time dilation or not. So we'll find out.
We will find out. I think an interesting part of the chibi thing, and again, like I might, I'll just post it on the Twitter if you guys want to check it out, audience. For yourselves, the exact clip. Huh?
There has to be a playlist by Katakawa just so people can watch all of them.
Oh, I'm sure there is. But like for this specific clip, you know what I mean? I'll put it in the description of the podcast episode and on the Twitter.
Did I miss the point where Beta got sucked in too?
You did not. They did not show it.
They did not show
what
that.
the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened to Beta?
So it's mentioned in the chibi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They did not mention
it. They specifically say that like
Beta the Lord and Beta. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't want to say it until you guys watched it, but I mean, Kate already said it.
Yeah.
Yes, Beta did in fact follow Shadow into
the void.
So Beta and Shadow are now stuck there.
Okay.
So what you're telling me is that my OTP has more legs to stand on now?
Yes, actually.
That's what I'm talking about.
Time spent with each other in a different dimension. Oh.
And,
Epsilon's net there to mess with her. Oh.
Okay, let's just say the reason I like the content of the film is because Beta really makes it, you know?
Oh. Keep talking my language, Angel.
Hey, Angel, I was already hyped, all right? You don't have to go this hard.
But yeah, just, I don't know, stuff like information like that doesn't make it into the show gets put into the chibis. And just like interactions on how you know the Seven Shadows interact.
Yeah, that's a little irritating.
All that stuff is left out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense. Look, I'd rather have something like this than not have it.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely.
I get
wish
where you're
they would at least announce it. You know, be like, hey, you know.
They probably did just for their YouTube, Japanese audience
or something like that, you know.
Because this is Kadokawa Japan.
Channel. True.
Yeah,
true.
I didn't even know it existed until I looked on Reddit and they're like, oh, by the way,
like these are kind of genuinely important.
Yeah.
No, they're just talking about like, oh, Juggernaut got off screen, by the way, and I'm like, wait, they didn't even show Juggernaut.
Yeah,
and then I like look more into it, and they're like, oh yeah, there's like this little chibi thing going on, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I feel like they need to make it a little clearer that, you know, there's more info if you want it, but
something
I understand
in the credits or something at least.
Yeah. I understand that they're under a time constraint as well, though. You know, you got to fit a whole bunch of info and, you know, lore and shit, you know, in a single episode and a single allotted time frame. So I get it, but, you know, I would have liked to have known it, you know, ahead of time.
It's not happy, is what he's saying. He could have.
I would have liked to have been able to watch these as they came out.
I agree.
Like, they attached them to the end of the episode. That would
it'd be so nice. It'd be so nice. And
so,
honestly,
pretty much like a little Jujutsu scroll in a sense.
Yeah.
But like I was saying though, like I understand maybe they were under a time constraint. Maybe, you know, since it's aired on TV, right?
Yeah.
So
in Japan,
if they didn't have enough time to, you know, shove it in, maybe, I guess. But that's just a guess. Maybe they were being lazy. I don't know. I doubt it, but you never know. So I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
So the most interesting thing in this chibi clip to me, besides learning that Beta got sucked in, because obviously that's huge, is that it looks like Sid has talked about this as a possibility to specifically to Ita, which is an interesting wrinkle. I think I was telling you, Angel, that about this, where I said I really like how Sid, like they characterize Sid as almost always like kind of stumbling into the right answer, right? But the important part is that he's always right.
Yeah.
You know? And so, but one of the only things that he has said consistently that hasn't been proven right is he's always looking for someone else who's gotten isekai'd. So that's why when he's like, he hears the Midnight Sonata for the first time, he's like, oh shit, that's someone from my world. And it turns out it's like one of the Shadow Garden members, like using the knowledge that he had gifted them for personal gain and stuff. Or what was it? Was it Beta selling books based on stories that he had told her from his home world, or things of that nature, right? So he's always looking for someone who has gotten isekai'd, but the base concept is can you travel between worlds at will? I think is what he wants to find out. And I think he has his answer now. So I think I really like that. This, I don't know what you would describe it as. It's like this storytelling device, I guess, where we've consistently seen Sid be correct about things. And this is like kind of the culmination of that concept. So I really like that through line throughout the whole show. Yeah, I think that about does it. Does anyone have any final points they wanna say about Eminence and Shadow season 2? Maybe make any grand statements.
No.
Wonderful. Angel, as a whole, and this is my favorite question to ask you, how much from the manga is in this anime? Like how much? I guess the better question is it worth reading the manga if you've seen the anime? You know, are there differences between the two that are like drastic? Is it pretty close?
Is it a different experience overall?
Yeah.
I think for season 2, it was definitely a little different. Some changes due to budget constraints or
time constraints, more likely.
Time constraints. Yeah, I would recommend the manga.
As an experience between season 2 and the stuff in the manga, which one do you prefer? Is there a clear preference for you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the manga more, I think.
Would you say
doesn't mean the show was bad?
Would you say the same for season 1? Because I feel like season 1 was fucking awesome.
Nah, season 1 was saucy.
Yeah, okay, good.
I also feel compared to season 1, there was a bit more of a budget constraint. Maybe because of the fast turnaround.
Well, I was thinking because they're probably simultaneously working on the film.
That would be my guess. And honestly, if they take the money that would have been put into season 2 and allocated it for the movie as well, that's even better. I'd rather have a based as fuck movie than a just as good season 2. You know.
I actually very much agree. A theatrical release can be like some of the best memories of an anime I can have. I'm trying to think. I remember the My Hero movies very fondly, and I don't even think it's because they were necessarily that good. Just being in the theater with like a room full of weebs is fucking awesome, you know. Yeah. I think we're all optimistic, right? For the film.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right, boys. Well, I would say that this has been an absolutely based episode. I want to do more timely one-offs like these. So I believe the next one I have on the slate isn't for another couple of months. But before the spring season starts, I want to do a Mushoku Season 2 Part 1 recap, also known as the ED arc.
Cade's favorite arc, honestly.
Cade's favorite arc.
Love it.
And we can recap it right before the season 2 part 2. So I think it'll be great for us to refresh and be great to like kind of build on the hype of the next part coming out. So look forward to that. And this week, this coming weekend, we're recording the season preview for winter 2024, a brand new year. And I know Tanner has had some shows that he is hyping up quite heavily, so I'm a little excited to that. And I believe a show that Angel, you and I saw in at the Bones
Dungeon Meshy, is that what it was?
No. That's Trigger.
Trigger.
Everyone knows that
Which one are you talking
the Trigger show's gonna make it. I'm talking about the Bones panel that we saw at Expo. They revealed that they were working on a new anime. And that anime is called Metallic Rouge. It's like that like post-apocalyptic mecha anime. You were very tired, so I don't blame you if you don't remember. But it's Studio Bones' new IP. So I am excited for that because I will always dig new Bones anime. So yeah. If you guys have any final comments, suggestions?
None.
Wonderful. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to send them to @AnyAniPod. That's AnyAniPod on X or AnyAnimePodcast@gmail.com. And you can email from anything. You can email from Outlook, Hotmail, Yahoo, MSN. I'm pretty sure that's all of them, right? I'm not forgetting one.
I don't think you are.
We don't have a MySpace, unfortunately. I think MySpace is a site that you can only like share music on now. An interesting evolution of what was once the dominant social media platform. And yeah, boys, we will reconvene again this week. And with that, we have an any away. You like that one? That was kind of like a introspective goodbye. No? Oh well.
Nah.